Hello everybody, this is Anisha here. I'm currently working as an assistant professor at Stanley, and it's a women's engineering college. I would be thankful firstly for giving me a chance where I could speak about my story on this platform. Basically, I am from a family who is well educated, to be very honest, and my dad was working for Indian Air Force. He served the Indian Air Force, and my mom, she also is a graduate in hobby pharmacy. But then we grew up in a family which was very conservative, to be right from beginning, and my father's side they were like there are two brothers and two sisters, and my grandfather was into the RTC service. And how our journey began is when my dad was in the Indian Air Force, he had a lot of responsibilities, like he had to get his two sisters married and all. And then there was one vibe that I have an elder sister, so there was one problem in our family that we were born girls, and the legacy of the family would not be taken further if we were born as girls. So, and my uncle, he had a daughter and a son as well. So the complete focus was over towards them, their side, saying there's a boy who would take the legacy forward. So right from our childhood, we were deprived in everything. And as we all understand, in those days when somebody who is from the Air Force and after their retirement, they don't earn much. So how my childhood was, if I was asked to speak about my childhood, it was somewhere where my dad used to take, after his retirement, once he came back from Air Force, he started with a small institution, that is a small educational institute, and he used to earn 30 rupees a month. And that 30 rupees a month was barely not sufficient even to pay the rent of that small building that he has taken. It was not even a building, it was just a small portion. So it was not even sufficient to pay back for it. He had to, in fact, invest money onto it again. So, and then we were two daughters, and we used to, we both, me and my elder sister, we had 8 years of gap. Having 8 years of gap, I was treated as a small baby, even after me growing up till my 10th standard as well. And like that was how my mom and dad started their journey. And they had a lot of responsibilities around them. They're taking care of their parents and all such things. And they had very less time to put over us. And they put us into a completely, they put me in fact into a small school in our locality, which was not well developed, but then they put us in some way, they put me into such school. Then the journey continued, and gradually my father, from his institution, with that 30 rupees a month salary, he started increasing gradually, and at some point he established a very small school. So at the area that we used to stay, there was no schools, ours was running fine over there. And then after being into that school, I was put back into our own school. So there were only localites who used to join up. There were nobody like big shots coming, because it was not an international school or not something of that kind. So we just moved on, and trust me, my dad was a Telugu medium student, no English knowledge. My mom could speak English, but not so fluently, because she was into that conservative mode. So she was not good at doing it. And I, being in a local school, I had no idea of how, because they were all people who used to speak in Hindi or Telugu in that manner, to that effect. So there was no knowledge about what to be spoken. And compared to my cousins who used to come to our house, I used to stammer when I had to speak to them. Literally, I used to stammer in front of them, and I used to avoid being in public. The reason of avoid being in public was I was not confident. I had no confidence in any aspect that I did. So, but I had a goal that I always wanted to be a journalist. I don't know how, because watching TV of that kind, I might have got such fantasy towards it, but there was no such, background that I could be a journalist. So that's how it all went on. And then once I finished my 10th, my father told me that I was interested to do BPC. Then I told Dad I wanted to study BPC. Then he said, see, if you have to study medicine, you have to be extra sharp, and which you are not, directly an underlined statement, which you are not, you are able to handle your numbers. And then I have to spend 30 lakhs over you, in future, wherein I am nowhere having that amount because I have to get your elder sister married. I can't afford to do so. And then I said, what next? So what do you want me to do? Then he said, take CEC and just keep studying. Whatever comes to you, you have to do it. Then I was like, I said, if I have to study CEC, I would forgo doing anything because the reason being, it was not like CEC was I should say like not a bad group, but then my cousins who were all there, they were studying in big schools, big institutions, big colleges, and I was the one asked to do a CEC thing. So then I was like, I'll stop studying, but I'm not going to do this CEC. Then it was my elder sister who came forward and she said, I'll put you into something, a professional study. She fought with my dad saying, Dad, please don't do this, because till now we have compromised. How we compromised, let me tell you. Having no money, my dad used to do, my mom, my dad used to make bricks and sell them. And in order to make those bricks, we couldn't afford to keep a labor. So it was my mom and dad who used to mix the concrete. Me and my elder sister used to help them in arranging the stones and all, and then get it loaded onto into an auto, which that auto my dad himself used to drive again. That was how our situation was. There were situations in our life where when my grandfather was hospitalized, I still remember that we slept in autos outside which were parked out of the hospital, because being a small girl, I was not allowed inside the hospital, and there were nobody who would come forward to take care of us, because we looked as if we had nothing. That was how our dressing, our clothing was not at all to the level of what they were. So that was how we were treated initially. And that always used to struck my brain, saying, why are we treated like this? Because my brain at that age did not accept the fact that because we are born girls, we are being treated like this. So that was not into my brain at all. And then while going ahead, and then as I told back, I'm coming back to my intermediate thing, my sister said, then how she fought with my dad, please, we have compromised a lot, now please don't make us compromise further, let her do some professional degree. And in that way, she started revolting back to him, and he was like, it was not revolt, in fact, he was also, he was also in such a situation where he couldn't do anything. So somehow what we did, me and my elder sister, we broke our piggy bank, whatever money we got from that, she took me along with her, got me enrolled into a very small college with 1,000 rupees as the admission fee. We had no idea how would we pay the rest of the fees, which she just said, let's see what happens further, but let us first go ahead. And that was how I was put into Max field. And then, seeing my interest in studying, my father himself understood, okay, she's showing some interest, let us put her into a good college now, a better one. So from there I shifted, I was removed from there and put into a better college. And then I started studying, and then the difficulty started of paying my college fee. Though my dad was running a school, that school was not working to the level of what it has to work, because it was all local school, and the competition started off, and we ourselves was running a school in a rented building. So things were not going as it has to be. So then I started taking classes, tuitions, right from my intermediate. And I used to take classes to the other person who were again in intermediate. I don't know how people believe me, to be very honest. Sometimes I even wonder today, how could they believe me that they're leaving their kid who is studying in intermediate for a tuition who is again already studying intermediate. So that was how I myself wondered. But at some point, might be it was seeing my father and them, they might have had that confidence. So like that, I started earning from there. And then once I finished my intermediate, no MCET coaching, no any coaching, that's all. It was like 9 to 1 college, come back, start teaching in school, and take tuitions in the evening. That was how my life used to run. And then when I joined for intermediate, once I finished my intermediate, and I just gave an exam called MCET, because I had no idea what really MCET also was. I was that lame into the world. So somehow somebody told me that you have an entrance if you wanted to do engineering. So that was the way we studied actually, because we had no exposure, zero exposure towards the world. Every moment was like, what could the society, if at all I go alone, or I firstly was not allowed, but then if at all I go, what would the society think? The societal fear was so mongering into our brain that we stopped putting our steps forward. And once I wrote my MCET exam, I literally got no good rank. I was dumped into a very far off college because my father couldn't afford again for a management seat. So I got into some normal college, a local engineering college, which was very far off from my home. So first 2 years were fine. I was studying, and then things started going upside down. And my confidence was not to any level, zero. I was not at all confident into anything, any aspect of life. I was not knowing what I'm doing, what am I studying, what am I going to do in future, nothing. Because this concept of saying I wanted to journalism, but I was not allowed to do so, so now I cannot do anything. This was what was in my brain, that's all. And then one day I was asked to speak on some occasion. I spoke. That time there were my principal, I still remember, his name was NC Birla, who was a companion with Abdul Kalam in those at the time of Agni missile. So one day he called me, he gave me a diary and a pen, and he told me, beta, you are for public relations, you're good for public relation, and you can be a very good speaker if you continue your job in this way. If you start continuing and you forget the world around you, you just think about yourself, what you can do. And I was wondering, what is that, what he meant to say? I was like, I didn't understand. He said, no, you will reach heights if in case you follow what you are good at. Even then, I never understood about it. And one day, at the time of our annual day things, we had one annual day celebration and all. There was one person who was invited to, in order to train us how to speak in public. So she heard me, she asked me, speak, raise your voice and speak up. So I spoke. Among all the people, there were many senior students, passed outs. There were many students, passed outs and all, and that they have got selected and all, somehow managed and got through. Then I started doing my masters, and then came my MTech, and after my MTech was, I still had no idea what's going on around me. And after that came, one day I thought, Dad, now I'm going to stand for myself. For the first time I left home uninformed to my parents, kept a pair of clothes in my bag, and went to write my PhD entrance at the age of 23. I did not know what would happen after coming back home, and when I just gave a call to my dad saying, Dad, I'm going to Vijayawada. He was shocked. I think, how come somebody can go ahead without informing? Then I was like, I just said, no, I'm going, let me give a try. I went to Vijayawada, gave my entrance and came back. The results were not out. And after coming back home, trust me, things were very violent. They did not take it like she really went to Vijayawada to write her PhD entrance. Things were very, 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 very difficult to face. And my results, the day it had to come out, it never came out on that day. It came on 31st December 2013, that in that list I was selected. That day was where my father's view on me has completely changed. He understood that this girl is doing something, let us encourage her, let us leave her. That was when that is at the age of 23, he realized that his daughter is really doing things in the world. And he left me from then. And from then I've decided I'm not going to turn back. And I have decided that the family who did not turn up for us in our bad times, they have to come to my house and stand in front of my mom and dad, giving them due respect. That was my mindset. And from there I started my journey. I started taking classes right from morning 6 o'clock till night 10 o'clock. That was how my schedule was packed up. At 2015, doing such things, I never thought about myself. Not at all. Myself was a second opinion. First was earn. Only it was money which always put me behind. Only the tag called being girl was put me behind. Now I'm going to go ahead in such a way that these two things will become my strength now. That was how I moved ahead in life. And trust me, the reason why I had to share all these things are, at the end of the day, being a girl, we always have the aspect called what society thinks about us. And the first step when you think about that line, you're taking your own steps back. Nobody's pulling you back. You are pulling yourself back. That is always that happens. Because you see, we think that boys, their societies are boys, they don't look after, they're not good people, not trustworthy. First, do we trust ourselves is the question. We hardly trust ourselves. Because before we do anything, we think that what would they think about me? When you have that concept, what would they think about you? is first, do you know what do you think about yourself? Do you know your own strengths? Because we give priority to our weaknesses so much that that covers your strength. That is always that happens. Basically, working in a women's college, I always see two sides of kids. One who are ultra fast, one who are having good skill, good knowledge, but just because not having good opportunities or support, they turn back. And though they get support, they don't create that zeal of doing things. The problem is, we always think, what is it? Only our society, our girls will change only when we say, why is it? Because when you question saying, why is it so, automatically you know what it is. So I always ask every girl saying, think why rather than saying what. When you say why, that means you know what exactly things are. That is how you can change world. You have to be extra confident in what you do, not overconfident, I would say. Extra confident in the sense you should know what you're doing, give a try, and if you think that it's society matters, these sort of things matter, don't go towards it. Society doesn't come for us at any point of time. It is you first. You have to understand what world requires. First, you have to put your step forward. If you think that your parents will not support you, show them ways how they might support you. Show them, give them that confidence that they would definitely support you. There's no parent in the world who says not to do things. It's only because they are afraid of the society. But it is we who can remove that fear. Sometimes we get into public scenarios where, you're so scared to talk in public or you're scared to face public. That's how it is. But what in case when you are into a trouble? The other day we had a problem in our society, and then the girl was so afraid of things. I guess I'm connecting to the news what happened some 2 to 3 days behind. There was a situation where a girl was facing a situation where she says that she's afraid. She was even guided to go and stand in a public place. And she says, if I stand there, people will watch me. What's wrong if people are watching you? You're not doing anything wrong. So first, learn to be confident. Learn to stand for yourself. Know what is good, what is bad. Only when you have that that track, then you can look into the world. We cannot blame the society for anything. It is we who has to change. The society is, today you will fight. What about tomorrow? Someday, some point, you have a place where you have to stand for yourself. And you have to do that right from inner self. It is not important to look confident and all. You have to make your mind confident, mind strong. When your mind is strong, everything goes strong. Only when you talk, have a proper look at person. Let them know that you're confident. Your eyes should speak to them. When you're confident in those manners, then things will definitely change. With this, I request all the girls out there saying, please take care of yourself. Be very alert wherever you go. And don't think that the society is going to rule you. If you stand stiff, you can rule the society, provided you're correct in your own way. Thank you so much.